Hi, everyone. And today we'll be talking about international actors and actresses calling for a ceasefire in Gaza, a new platform for Yemeni female artists.
We'll also talk about Saltburn, Netflix's One Day, and Wicked, and explain exactly what we think of them. And we have our man about town to talk to us about Perform Sharjah and the very anticipated Untold Dubai this weekend.
Hello and welcome. This is Culture Bites coming to you from the National News. I'm Enas and Farah.
And I'm Farah Andrews.
I was a bit too loud then, I think. No?
You're in my ears and I'm fine with it.
I was, with all the gusto.
That's good. It's good energy. Do you know why it's good energy?
What's good energy?
This is our 20th episode.
Hey!
That feels like a milestone.
Thank you for everybody who's been listening to us on this journey of Culture Bites. I think
20.
We've done 20. Yeah. Unfortunately, yet again, due to issues, we have not filmed this one. So you can't see our beautiful faces on YouTube. I'm quite glad about that because I need to get my roots done.
Same. And I didn't put any makeup on today. So we're doing well. But no, it's nice to be in this little booth again with you.
Yeah. I find the air conditioning in the office quite a lot. So this little padded booth is just right.
Little safe space.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about Artists for Ceasefire. And this is a movement that's been growing because of what's happening in Gaza.
Yeah.
And more people are showing solidarity for the Palestinians stuck in Gaza. And some really big names this week.
So there have been some from the very beginning, since the Artists for Ceasefire letter was published, like an open letter, there were some very prominent names attached to it. There were kind of like your Kate Blanchetts, like very like top tier A-list, but they were kind of not to minimize it, but it was very much behind a letter. So what we're starting to see happen a little bit more is like public gestures, public statements. So obviously we spoke about Annie Lennox at the Grammys last week. So that, and we also spoke about Boy Genius wearing their Artists for Ceasefire badges at the Grammys. But this week there's been there was
even more. This is a huge actor, Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, I was going in a different direction, but let's go Mark Ruffalo.
So Mark Ruffalo called for a ceasefire when he was on the red carpet. He wore on his lapel peace lilies and Artists for Ceasefire.
He was at the DGA Awards in Beverly Hills, so a very prominent event.
A really prominent event, and something that we haven't, I think, like, as somebody of a Middle Eastern background, I haven't seen this before. I remember covering red carpets when I was a young journalist, and often people shied away, especially from this subject, apart from Annie Lennox. But I think most people kind of shied away from this subject.
Mark Ruffalo has been pretty outspoken along, like, this isn't off-brand for him at all.
Okay.
He was an early adopter of the kind of Artists for Ceasefire movement, and he put out some statements pretty early on, quite close to the October 7th. And so he kind of has been a real kind of, like, for want of a better word, ally. But this was significant. He was on a red carpet and he spoke. He obviously had some thoughts prepared and he spoke very eloquently. And he said, "We've come to understand this bombing isn't working. We aren't going to bomb our way to peace," which is a very, very impactful statement, right?
Yeah. Really impactful. But there's other names as well you wanted to mention.
Well, yeah. So there was an event this week called the Goya Awards in Spain, which is not something that we cover kind of routinely. It's very Spanish film focused. But there was an awful lot of attendees at the event wearing kind of stickers that were in solidarity. So there was Penelope Cruz, who's obviously incredibly big, a very significant name, and then kind of a lot of other Spanish celebrities on the red carpet. There was a director. My Spanish degree is going to let me. I'm going to.
You do speak Spanish,
I'm
Farah.
going to humiliate myself now when I try and say her name.
No, you can say it. Come on.
Estibaliz.
Urresola.
Sí. She won an award, and during her acceptance speech for the 20,000 Species of Bees, which received 15 nominations, so a very well-received film. She was on stage receiving her award, and she said, "I also wanted to take the opportunity here to name that what is happening in Gaza is a genocide, and we have to ask our governments to stop it." So she kind of she got up there, she received her award, but then kind of took that moment to kind of speak about what's happening in Gaza and kind of wearing the badge.
I really like that. I think it means a lot. Like, again, I'm coming from a very Arab perspective on this.
Yeah.
One is the Arabs have a very strong affiliation with Spain.
Very much so.
Because of Andalusia. And for a really long time, I think that the Spanish culture has kind of like shied away from that history.
It's very complicated.
It's very complicated and it's almost quite controversial.
History as well.
Right, yeah.
It's very immigration but there are so many, because I lived in Spain.
No way.
I lived in Andalusia. No, there is in kind of throughout Andalusia and throughout Spain, there is a huge Arab influence in the architecture, in like the old parts of town. Like in Granada, where I live, there's a part of town called the Albaicin that overlooks a palace called the Alhambra, and it's
the palace. It's a very famous palace.
It's breathtaking, and like the Arab architecture in that palace is outstanding. And then you go to Cordoba, you go to Seville, and it's just they have like this completely linked. It's
completely linked. And I think it's those links that sometimes we often all forget about. But what's really interesting is people are taking a stance on this, and huge names like Penelope Cruz, Javier Bardem are talking about it more. And it's something that really, like, again, from my perspective, from a Middle Easterner, I've been seeing this for most of my life, and I am really glad that like the tide feels like it's changing and that people are talking about the injustice.
Yeah, for sure. The stickers that they were wearing didn't just say Artists for Ceasefire. It was separate. So the stickers that they were wearing had an illustration of a watermelon, which we obviously all now kind of understand as a kind of emblem in solidarity with Palestine. And the sticker said, "Stop arms trade, ceasefire now." So it was a very, very clear message on the red carpet, and people were wearing them on stage to accept their awards and in the audience. So it was definitely like throughout, and you kind of like see, I was looking through images of the red carpet and people were they had them on their hands and they were like putting them up to the camera. So there was like it wasn't like, oh, this is just like a small pin on my lapel and it's performative. It wasn't that at all. It was it felt a lot like there were artists there that were really making a statement that this is what they believe in, this is what they're standing for now, and that they're using the platform that is a red carpet with global cameras to kind of make that statement. So significant.
Very significant. I love Spanish cinema. Do you?
Oh, do I?
Oh, sorry. Did you live in Spain?
Did I study Spanish and Spanish cinema? Yeah, no, I love Spanish cinema. It's so feisty. It's so
funny.
Yeah.
They've got a really wicked sense of humor.
This is like the most basic thing I can like reference to, but Almodovar and his films are...
I was going to say, Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown.
Mujeres al borde del ataque de nervios.
Isn't Javier in that? I think he is. And Penelope.
Oh, Javier and Penelope are like his muses. They're in everything.
I know.
And I love that.
I love that. But yeah, no, great cinema. So if you
Javier and Penelope are on first name terms. Sorry. I'll have.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are definitely.
Vicky Cristina Barcelona. He's in that as well. And she's in that. So anything coming out of Spain.
Take pigeonhole.
Okay, let's not pigeonhole. Yeah, Pan's Labyrinth, they're not in that. That was a huge hit.
That was massive. But no, they weren't. Oh my God, my IMDb brain isn't working. But no, they
You're going to have to crank it up because we've got a whole segment today on what's caught our eye.
Oh, that's coming up. Don't get me there yet.
Let's not go. Before we get to there was something you wanted to share with us.
Yeah. So this has kind of caught my eye. We're maybe jumping ahead a little bit, but I kind of wanted to talk about it kind of early roots.
Ooh, it's a scoop. It's a scoop, guys.
Go ahead. Let's call this a scoop. This is a person that I would really love for us to interview or talk to. This could be a bit of a shout out to
Noha Al Maghafi, aka Intibint.
Yeah. So
Intibint is a cool
musician name, Intibint, which is awesome. So Noha is a Yemeni-British singer, and she has founded this kind of like platform space, creative space called Yamaniah. Is that correct?
Yeah, Yamaniah.
Yamaniah, sorry. put the
I love
emphasis
it.
on the wrong bit of the word. And it's a community, it's a platform, but it is focusing kind of squarely on female Yemeni creatives. And it's a whole space, but what they're launching is a publication. And so it's going to be like, this is not the best platform because it's audio, but this is the cover.
I know, I love it.
I saw the cover and I was like entranced, and that basically is what got me in.
Yeah. So just to describe the cover to our listeners, it's a woman who's wearing like kind of wrapped around hijab. She's got very cool sunglasses on, but she's also got a niqab, leather glasses, and she's holding a coffee cup. It's very like, it's almost reminiscent of a kind of 70s kind of like still from a cool 60s,
there is
70s
like real
film.
70s glamour with the scarf, the attitude in her, like her hand gesture, she's kind of like holding her hand up to her face. It's a kind of like sea view behind her, very retro. It looks like all of those kind of like old school Arabic posters that we've seen like so much, like the kind of like that font of the
it almost feels like it's that Arab style like Wes Anderson.
Oh
so
my God.
It is. Yeah, I know. I nailed it. So tell us about this platform then.
So she's kind of, she's creating this kind of like creative space for Yemeni women. And what she's kind of put out as her mission statement is, it's a community and a platform that champions the work of Yemeni women in the creative field. While it is a given that there is talent and ambition among Yemeni women, we didn't find a platform or space to bring together both the thriving diaspora and the women in Yemen in a digital space. We decided to create Yamaniah. Is that right?
Yeah.
To fill that gap. We feature and promote the work of upcoming as well as established creatives, facilitate collaborative projects, and much more. So they want people to reach out. So this is kind of, it feels a bit rogue to be doing a shout out for another publication, but this is like such a specific space that is really cool. And they're kind of like, they're looking at talent in arts and culture with like photography, poetry, illustrations. So it's very much like, it is kind of like every facet of creativity that people can contribute. Like our creativity here is very much like visual and video or in Word, which is amazing at the National. But here they're kind of like looking to like illustrations and like art, and kind of like everything is kind of coming out of Yemen and Yemeni women.
I love this. And you can pre-order the publication.
From yesterday.
Fantastic.
I have tried to find out when it's coming out, the publication, and I can't get to the bottom of that. I've seen lots of like teasers like coming soon on their Insta and everything, and on the website. But at the moment, it's a kind of pre-order situation, and I am going to pre-order it because I definitely want to like read it. If it's in Arabic, I'm going to need you to like basically give me bedtime stories, please.
I'm there for you. I actually went on there because I tried to buy the cover as a poster.
I want it.
Yeah. So if we do manage to get to
Intibint, can we have please?
Pretty please. We'll be so ever so kind.
And we are two hype women.
We are two hype women who have a real interest in Yemeni culture and just like
and female creatives. And this kind of is like a center Venn diagram of kind of and like tapping into a space that just isn't being given a mic at the moment. And we want to see as much as we can. So within our team, we definitely kind of like look into like kind of look into interviews with like people that are working and kind of collaborating to the publication, but also kind of looking at the kind of I want to watch it grow like personally and professionally. At the moment, it says they've got contributions from more than 80 Yemeni female artists, over 156 pages. And as somebody that works in magazines, I know that is no mean feat.
I really want a poster.
Right.
I'm just going to say it again. Like, that's okay.
We're reiterating. Saeed on our team, who's our music man. Saeed. He interviewed Intibint in 2021, profiled her in 2021. So we've got previous. So come back.
Yeah, come back to us. I think that's something the National does really well. Not to toot our own horn, but like really like trying to understand artists that are coming out of this region really quickly. I think the National, like whenever I find someone, I'm like, oh, let me just do a quick Google, and then the National will come up as one of the main articles.
When like again, like this is a bit like kind of like the inner workings, like the behind the scenes, but like when I'm Googling different artists and then one of our stories comes up, I'm just like, Yes.
We're doing our job.
You guys. Because there are so many cogs, right? It's definitely not a one-man show in any sense of the word. There are so many brilliant people that we work with, and like kind of watching how all the different pieces kind of animals. Yes. I'm so glad that I can like reference us for this.
Yay! Okay, so we're going to move on yet again to things we've watched.
Right.
This is our new little segment. So I think we often we talk to you, like, we like to talk to you about what's going on in the world, what's going on with us a little bit, not too much to bore you, but we just want to talk about what we've been watching because we were both late to something.
Yeah.
So
we've come very late to a party. If you'll still let us in, please do.
Yeah, ding dong. I don't think they'll let me into this party.
Oh, we're not. So this was not even orchestrated. I wish we could pretend that we were this well planned this week. But
yeah,
we just
had an editorial meeting, and we were both like, "Oh, I saw that. Oh, I saw that. Oh, we both saw Saltburn.
We both watched Saltburn this week, so like about 6 weeks late because I think it came out between Christmas and New Year.
Yeah, and it definitely caught the press and the memes.
I don't even know if it caught necessarily the press. It's like the internet just was lit up with Saltburn. So I kind of felt a pressure to watch it.
I did too, because I wanted to understand the jokes.
And I wanted to talk about the music.
So that's probably one of the things that caught our eye, because the Saltburn, so it's a film. It's based on this like almost unlikely friendship at university.
Not almost, very unlikely
friendship at university in the UK. Set in England, but also set in the time when you and I probably were at university. So the fashion, the sounds.
It kind of really, I think that's probably a very big part of why this film has kind of resonated so well with particularly people our age. It literally was like a time capsule. It took me back to like 2004, 2005. The music, the way that the girls and the boys were dressing, the kind of floppy hair, the parties. Obviously, I mean, if you've watched Saltburn, a lot of the parties I went to university didn't look like that. So please don't come for me.
I remember the layering. You know, like in the 2000s, early 2000s, you'd put a belt over something that was not holding anything up.
No,
didn't need to.
But you've just basically described the wardrobe for it, which they absolutely nail in this film. It looks like 2005.
Yes.
And sounds like 2005.
And sounds, because the Murder on the Dance Floor has gone,
at the end,
has shot back to number one. And that's because it is played at the end of the film. The very finale.
Yeah, it's a significant finale that we can't really talk about, but it's a significant finale.
Yeah, but it was really good. I think that the film is really good. So if you haven't seen it, do watch it. Don't watch it with your parents.
Please do not. You'll watch it. It's quite long. It's more than 2 hours. In the first hour, you'll think, "Oh, what's everyone talking about? This is plain sailing."
Whatever. And then it goes quite grim.
It takes like a very quick turn.
Yeah.
The main kind of point of this film is that it is a real observation of the British class system, I would say. If we were kind of looking at it from
an anthropological
putting our anthropological specs on, it's a critique of the British class system. It's kind of looking at what it takes to infiltrate this like upper echelon of the richest of the rich. And it is obviously, it's written by Emerald Fennell, who is herself from quite a privileged family and quite a wealthy family, but she's obviously able to kind of like cast this lens and kind of be like, this world that is so famously closed off, kind of like what is right about that, what is wrong about that. And that was one of my really big takeaways, the kind of like analysis of classism in the UK and how there's like, this is quite UK centric, but there are people from like different parts of the country that the kind of like very wealthy people kind of like turn their nose up at, and it's not because they've spoken to them or know anything about them, it's because of an address, right? And then you're kind of like, no.
This happens a lot. Like, I think you and I, we definitely shared some experiences of university, and there was definitely like undertones of that in my university for sure. So it must have had a few nominations. We actually looked through the nominations, didn't we?
BAFTAs have definitely tick.
Yeah, it rings so true with British people that I imagine it's gonna like do quite well at the BAFTAs.
I think it's very generational though.
Yeah, and maybe our generation aren't choosing the awards yet.
I think if my mum and dad watched this, they
wouldn't get it.
They wouldn't get it. They'd mostly be horrified. They wouldn't understand like the jokes. Not that they don't understand jokes. You've both got very good sense of humor. Well done. But it would. This is not a film I'm going to recommend to my mum and dad.
It's interesting as well because I don't think we've got to that time. We're not yet old enough to have witnessed a lot of things done in retrospect to our era, which is kind of fun, right?
It's just starting though.
Is it just starting? It's quite exciting. It's a good bit about getting older.
There we are. Like we're going to start like seeing this like golden era for ourselves like played out in cinema because Madame Web, which is a new Marvel film, is actually coming out this week. Oh, so timely. That's set in 2007. And the music in that is kind of like a taking us back. So I think we're just getting there.
Yay!
We're kind of approaching.
Bring on the indie.
Yeah, we're approaching like 20 years, which makes me want to pass out. But that kind of, we're getting to like, it's been 20 years since like 2005, nearly 19 years. And so we're kind of getting there where it's going to be like, okay, let's start kind of like reliving this era on screen.
There's another retrospect thing that's come out this week.
No, you have to give it a rating.
Oh, Saltburn. I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10.
Oh, you went out of 10?
Yeah. What were you going to do? Stars?
I was going to go out of 5, but it's fine. Okay. You go out of 5 out of 10. I'm going to go 4.5 out of 5.
4.5 out of 5. Okay, quite similar then.
Yeah, basically we gave it the same score.
Okay, great. Yeah, do watch it. So next, the Netflix, another retrospective look is One Day, which is a novel, which was made into a film. Now they've made it into a TV series. A big shout out to Camilla. I know you worked on it. It's a friend of mine. But
well done, Camilla.
Yeah, well done, Camilla Ran.
So I have not watched this yet. It's on my list. It's basically going to be what I do this weekend. We're going away and it's going to be very low key. So I'm going to watch One Day. Spoiler alert, Eddie. That's what you're doing this weekend.
Yeah, I haven't. I watched the first episode. Okay. I have to say, I wasn't like totally drawn into it, but I think I was just not in the right mood. I might go back and try and watch it again. You know, sometimes I'm not in the right mood and then I end up scrolling.
Oh, yeah, I'm guilty of that. But there have also been things that just didn't land with me the first time I watched them. And I'm going to say it, Succession. And then I went back and I was like, goodness me, this is phenomenal. So
you made an error.
I did. And I went back and I really, really watched it all really hard. Did you read One Day?
I did.
David Nichols, One Day.
I did. I really enjoyed the novel.
And did you watch the Anne Hathaway and Jim Burgess film?
Yes.
Did you like that?
I didn't mind that.
Neither did I.
And everybody was like really slating it. I think what it was is they just put it all into a film and I couldn't wrap my head around the times.
It was so compressed.
Yeah, it was too compressed because it felt like the beginning of the film, the end of the film, and they don't really change that much in the way they look.
And you had I haven't watched the series yet, but what I understand of the series, so the whole point of One Day, for anyone that hasn't watched or read, is it's a kind of how two people's lives interlink over a decade, or more than a decade, starting from the day they graduate university, which is St. Swithin's Day, which is July the 15th, I think. I can be fact checked, but it's definitely St. Swithin's Day. And they graduate from Edinburgh University. They meet each other on that last day, and then it comes back to them every year on that same day to kind of see how their lives are progressing. So she obviously had a crush on him at university. He didn't. And they're kind of, then their lives weave. Then one of them goes off and has a baby. One of them goes off and has a very successful TV career. One of them has a more stunted kind of like beginning of post-uni life, working in a service job that they don't want to work in. And then they kind of like how they intertwine and then how their lives kind of are kind of going at a different rate, but they always come back to this one day and kind of check in with where they are. In the film, it doesn't give it enough time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm hoping this is going to really do well, because it's a series, like each year gets
more of an episode.
Gets an episode.
Well, maybe an episode and a bit.
Okay. So then that's where we get more space.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching it this, but I think from what I can tell, I would give this more of a kind of 6 out of 10. Sorry, Camilla.
I'm hoping to come back and be overly enthusiastic and give it an 18 out of 10.
Woo!
But we'll have to check in. Ask me next week.
I just found, and maybe this is just me, but I just found both of the actors' faces kind of a bit annoying. You know when that happens?
I can see.
But I'm not going to judge it
I can't see it on this. Like it happens. I didn't find them annoying. I thought they looked nice. Although, back in the old film, did I find Anne Hathaway's Northern English accent a bit annoying?
Yes.
But I'm not a hater. I like Anne Hathaway a lot. And then, finalement.
Yes, the last. So this is something that...
A big trailer has dropped this week.
Huge trailer. We have got the trailer for Wicked, which is the musical.
It looks huge. It looks bombastic.
It's definitely a spectacle for the eyes.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. We've got Ariana Grande, isn't it?
I mean, the cast.
I've
got a screen grab of the IMDb because the cast is just too much. So we've got Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, as you've mentioned, Jonathan Bailey, who's like a real Netflix fan favorite from the Bridgerton series, Michelle Yeoh, Jeff Goldblum. Like the cast is 10 out of 10. Also, Ethan Slater, who's quite big in tabloid news because of Ariana Grande. Big names here. Big names.
Huge names and huge budget, clearly, from the trailer.
So the trailer dropped at the Super Bowl. It was one of the Super Bowl ads earlier this week. And Wicked, obviously, not obviously.
Huge following.
The background of Wicked
cult following.
Is the kind of, it's the, was it prequel to The Wizard of Oz?
Yes.
The story of the Good Witch.
And the Bad Witch.
And
Glinda
how they
and
became. Elphaba. And kind of, it's a musical. It's been like Broadway, West End, travelled. Have you seen it? You want a musical? Oh my God, I've read a little story. So I actually have gone to see the musical Wicked in the West End. I have to.
Okay. It was good. I had some screaming kids behind me. Just fidgety. Maybe not screaming, just fidgety children behind me. Which,
I mean, I could start a series on theatre etiquette because I didn't enjoy the people that were sat in front of me at Hamilton, but we can talk about that another day.
Let's talk about that another day. But yeah, huge. I think that actually, I'm going to put this out there. I think that this looks better than the stage version just because of the spectacle.
Yeah, it looks so much bigger.
It's so much bigger. There's so much room to make this prettier. Epic because of CGI, costumes, just everything, lighting. It's so much more up close and the personal.
Music is going to resonate, right? Like people know the songs, like Defying Gravity. Like these songs have kind of permeated pop culture and they kind of left the stage. They become bigger than just a stage show, and I think that it comes out in November. I believe 27th of November release date. If you want to pop that in your diary.
November?
Yeah, you got a while to wait.
Wait a second. That's months away. Why would they drop it now?
You're looking at an early teaser trailer that was given to you then. Yeah.
I was expecting it to be out like next week then.
I am sorry to disappoint. They're gearing up for a big Christmas audience there.
Oh my goodness. That is quite some time to wait.
Yeah, we've got a while. I think there's going to be a few more trailers in between now and then.
We are. Do they know that we're in February?
Do you want to get in touch with the producers and say, hi, it's February?
But it is really exciting. So if you haven't seen it, do check it out. And just, I don't know, clear your diary for November.
Yeah. A few weeks ago, Man and I were driving and he asked me if I'm a Wicked girly. And I had never heard that terminology, but apparently that's a thing. If you're really into Wicked, you're a Wicked girly. I am not. But am I maybe going to become a Wicked girly between now and November 27th? TBC.
I feel like you look quite like a hype.
Oh, I do like hype. And I love music. I love musicals.
You love musicals. You love hype.
I love Splendor. I love hype. So just basically, this is going to be between now and November, just my journey to becoming a Wicked girly.
Boom.
Join me.
Let's get Man in. Our man about town. We need to bring him in because I really do want to see what he's got to say about this.
Right.
And here he is. Man is in the room.
Oh, he loves taking it back.
I didn't realize we were recording.
You're in the room.
Yeah, I'm in the room. So we're recording officially when I'm in the room.
Everything that happens in the pods.
Yeah. They're very comfortable.
Goes on the pod.
Goes on the pod. So we left our, what we felt the rating was for
I don't think we
Wicked.
can rate Wicked yet. We haven't seen it. Can we rate a trailer?
A trailer? out of 10, do you want to see Wicked since seeing the trailer?
100%.
Hey,
because I thought the trailer's gonna make it or break it. Like either I'd be like, oh, what is this, or like, oh yeah, I'm so down. And because the production paused because of the SAG, the SAG,
the strike,
the SAG strike.
There was another casualty of the SAG strike.
Yes, and so now
that
it's
might
split
be
into,
why you've got your November date.
but it's split into two now. It's going to be one this year, and then the second part is next year.
That's a bit of a news line. I didn't hear.
that.
You didn't know that? Yeah. So some like Wicked fans are really annoyed because they just want it all in one go, but they're splitting it into
So what are they
two.
doing? Like up to the interval, and then it's like, haha, longest interval ever. But
Yeah, see you in a year.
You just sit around.
You stay in that cinema for 1 year.
I think the best thing about it is that it looks really, really like realistic, but not, obviously it's green screen and CGI, but it doesn't look like that. It looks real. I watched Wonka a couple of weeks ago and it just looked so, there's no texture.
Texture.
You know, lots of texture.
There is a lot of texture. I'm Susie. I'm with Man. I'm all in on watching this. I'll give it a 10 out of 10. I'm going to watch it.
Okay.
But there's a guarantee I'm going to watch this.
I'm going to do the same. There we go. I know, and it's a musical.
Goodness, it feels like Strictly Come Dancing. It was like 3 10s. That never happens.
Oh, wow.
But by the way, it's a talking, singing one.
It's a talking singing.
Yeah, so they talk, they sing,
still
they talk.
They still talk.
The technical name.
But anyway, if anybody who's out there who wants to share their ratings, we really want to hear from some people who are listening to the podcast. So yeah, share your ratings with us, message us, put it in a little comment underneath this.
Yeah, tell us what you think about the things we've been watching.
And also, if you've read the book Wicked, which is the musical is based on, please comment, because I read the novel and I severely didn't like it, and that musical is very different from the book.
And you've watched the musical.
And I've watched the musical, which is great. And so the film is now adapted from the musical. So it's just this thing that keeps giving. Yeah.
Right, tell us, Man.
Yes, speaking of performances.
Whoa.
Yes, segue. So there has been something called the Perform Sharjah, which started in January 13th. This is the second season. It happens every year. And it basically across every weekend, they have different sort of performances in the Sharjah Art Foundation, which is the historical neighborhood in Sharjah. And so I went to one of their performances last week, which is called Perhaps Here, where there are 16 artists from really diverse disciplines. Each of them are doing a performance in a room that you can go in and watch. And you can go to 3 at a time. And they really range. Like the artists could be sound artists, conceptual artists, film artists. And it's a very intimate room, like almost like this pod. And so you're in there with the artist, a little bit bigger. Yeah, very, very intimate. You're in there with the artist and they're doing some kind of performance. So I want to point out to 2 that I really, really enjoyed. One is by Maha Ma'moon, and she had a video installation where, okay, so this is a bit of a mind bend. So the video installation had these photographs of a man who was kind of had a blindfold and earphones and was in a bathtub. And you have earphones in, and you're hearing to a man in Arabic, an actor in Arabic speaking, and he's talking about a vision that he saw. And so you're like, what is going on? But then when you read a little bit about the work, the text that the guy is reading or he's acting out is based on the novel, The Revolution of 2053 by Muhammad Uthman. And it's basically a novel about a person who time travels to the future in 2026 and sees Egypt and the pyramids and sees all these strange things happening. It's very dystopian. It's very like the future and what's going on, but you're only getting clips and elements of it while you're listening and watching this thing. So it's like you're getting a feeling of it, but not the full picture. Does that make sense? I
find it really creepy when it's sci-fis that are only 2026. That's like 2 years away.
Well, that's, yeah. That's
so it's like, is it really?
Dystopian.
Well, he wrote it in 2007. And so I guess back then, 2026 sounded like crazy.
That's the second time he's spoken about that 20-year leap today.
Oh, yeah. It is crazy because 2007 to me feels like, what, yesterday?
Yeah, a hot minute ago.
I once said to one of my reporters, I was like, that wasn't 20 years ago. And then he was like, no, it was. I was like, oh, God. That's quite showing my age.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's fine.
It's better to be over the hill than under it.
There she is. And can people still go and see elements of Perform Sharjah?
So yeah, Perform Sharjah is the last. This weekend's their last weekend. By the way, it's all free, but you just have to book your seating. So there's
amazing! That's a really cool
it's
thing.
Very
to
cool.
do
I love free things.
Who doesn't love free things?
Same.
So there's one more play happening this coming weekend on Friday. So you can go on the Sharjah Art Foundation's website and book seats to it. So yeah, very cool.
Oh, it sounds super interesting.
Great stuff.
What else have you got for us?
So I want to talk to you guys about a book that I'm currently reading.
Love a book recommendation.
Which
Kind of want to start a book club. Can we start the Nationals book club?
Oh,
Why don't we just do a segment on Culture Wise? Let's take this chat offline. I feel like let's just take this chat offline and then we can maybe come up with a proposal for the multimedia team.
Okay.
Really? Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Honestly, I would. I read a lot. I'd be so down.
Look at us.
Yeah, you got me so excited.
This is really fun chat for everybody.
Yeah, so book club.
Okay, so book club. I'll tell you guys what I've been reading. It is a narrative nonfiction book by a man called Patrick Bingley, and the book is called All the Beauty in the World.
Okay.
So Patrick Bingley was a journalist at The New Yorker, like over 15, 20 years ago, and his brother got diagnosed with cancer and got very ill. And it made him sort of rethink his life, and he wanted to get away from like the hustle and bustle of corporate life or working for The New Yorker. And he got a job as a security guard at the Metropolitan Museum of Art for 10 years. And he decided to work as a security guard there to sort of just slow down in his life and kind of come and work through the grief of his brother's illness and eventual death. And he ended up writing this book, which is his exploration and him seeing all of the, what is that phrase? Crooks and crannies?
Nooks and crannies.
Nooks and crannies, sorry. Of the New York Metropolitan Museum that, the average visitor doesn't see.
And that museum, have you been?
No, I haven't.
Have you been?
Yeah.
You can spend a whole 2-week holiday in there.
Yeah, I've heard. And he, talks about going down to the basements and the like restricted areas. And through all of the art and the artifacts that he's experiencing over the 10 years, he's also working through his grief of what happened with his brother and how he thinks about life. So it's a really interesting and beautiful way to experience art and artifacts through someone's own personal journey. And he's a great writer. I've read the first couple of chapters so far, and it's very accessible, even though I hate that word. It's very accessible, easy to read. And I love that weaving in your own personal story with works of art that are like, very famous or well known. So it's a really great book. He was a guest at the Emirates Lit Fest. So that's how I got introduced to his book.
Can you give us the book's name again?
Yes, All the Beauty in the World, and his name is Patrick Bingley.
I'm definitely going to read that.
Yeah.
That's right up my street.
So yeah.
Okay, and huge event happening this weekend. Huge.
Enormous.
Huge
event in Dubai.
Especially if you're a music, concert, outdoors kind of person. Untold Dubai, which is it's a huge concert.
It's a massive festival, I believe, in Belgium.
So I didn't know anything about this. Obviously, everywhere in Dubai is littered with posters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every single street, Sheikh Zayed Road, it's like all the way down there. I was like, oh, wow, cool. Ellie Goulding, written in Arabic, which made me like stop for a second. Ellie Goulding.
Yeah.
But it's really cool, the amount of names. And there's some like, I wouldn't say just like a few names. There are some like really niche names that I'm quite interested about.
Yeah.
Such as?
Emmy.
So
she's like this like South London rapper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's got this really good song called Culture, and it's all about kind of like paying respect to the culture of her immigrant family. So like in the song she says about like bending her knee and like touching her like, her elders' feet and things. And it's just like a really cool song. I would sing it, but I don't want to hurt your ears.
I don't hurt Emmy.
Tell us more. Where is
there's
it?
also a
What
rapper, I'm going to interrupt.
Loyal
Kana, that you like as well, and I love. He's playing that we didn't even know until we went through the list yesterday that we were like,
it's an extensive list. So if you think you've seen Tiesto and you're like, that's not my vibe, look at it.
You can have like
Because
like
there's
Rosanna.
like over 100. There's like 100 acts. There's 5 stages. It's happening at Expo City in Dubai from Thursday to Sunday. And so it doesn't really matter what your vibe is, whether you're into hip hop, Afrobeat, K-pop.
There's
It's
like
all there.
Every genre.
And there's like artists like from Armin van Buuren, BB Rexa, Ellie Goulding, a Moroccan rapper, Manal, Major Lazer, Asake. Sorry.
Asake? I don't know.
Asake?
You know, I'm not the music person, but yeah, this sounds pretty cool.
No, it is really cool. I mean, I'm like, I do really love music.
You missed out one huge name.
Huge?
Psy.
Psy is
Gangnam
going to be
Style.
there. Yeah, Gangnam Style. He's
What
there.
an unprecedented move.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Has he? He's got other
He's obviously
tracks,
he's
guys.
massive.
He's huge.
Isn't he the first person on YouTube to get to like 1 billion views
Yeah.
or
I
something?
think he was, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big
song was
hit.
That was a moment.
It was a moment. We were all there for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. So at the time of recording right now, the festival organizers haven't kind of released when things are taking place. So it's kind of, I'm going to make a joke that I'm stealing from the team, an untold lineup.
Hey,
Because we don't know. So it's kicking off on Thursday, but we don't know if it's like who's playing when.
I know. I'm kind of a bit annoyed about that because I would buy a ticket to see a specific act. But I think there's weekend tickets, so you can just buy a ticket.
That's what they want you to
passes
do.
or
Yeah,
something.
that's what they want you to
Yeah.
do.
So just get a ticket and then you get to see all of these amazing acts. It
And
feels
that is
like
a lot.
it's a lot to pack into. I wonder if it's
100
going to be
acts.
like Glastonbury or like huge festivals where you're like trying to dot between stages.
Like at Glastonbury, you have to have like a bit of a roadmap for your day. You can be like, right, these are like my big 3 priorities today. I need to be at this stage then, this stage then, this stage then. And then you can kind of like fill in the gap of the way. And that gap can be filled with music and art at Glastonbury. Yep.
Well, Expo City as well is massive. So I'm not sure if people have been going there since Expo, but I went there
Or COP.
a couple of
Can we
since
not?
COP. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Have you
COP.
forgotten COP?
Don't forget
Forgot.
Inas's personal expo.
Yes, of course. But it's a really nice location. I really like it over there.
It's such a nice location. I can imagine something like this is going to be really fun. So that is the big thing to do this
I'm going to try and go
weekend.
down and catch some of the people that I really care about.
And just quickly, if you're not into music, I just want to recommend that you go to the Third Line Gallery in El Sakal Avenue. They're closing their show. Their 2 shows is closed on this Friday. One is called Fly Like Dandelions by the Iranian artist Puran Jinshi, and the other one is by the Iranian Netherlands artist. That's not the right
Dutch?
word. Dutch artist Cameron Samimi, and he created amazing work based on the UAE's landscape. So they're closing the exhibition's closing this Friday. So check it out.
He's made it, man.
Amazing.
He's rounding it out with some energy.
Man is the man around town. Thank you so much for joining us today at Culture Bites.
And if you like this episode, please follow and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app. And don't forget to tell all your friends and family about it. Bye.
Bye.